I'm in Bill Ociepka's studio, and Bill is a member of the Arts League of Lowell. He's a co-op member, and don't forget that the Arts League of Lowell is located at 307 Market Street in Lowell, Massachusetts. You can see Bill's work there. We're going to talk about his work in a minute, but let's start out with your story. Where were you born, and how were you educated? I'm interested in understanding where you got your art education, particularly.
Well, I was born in Lowell in 1944. I went to St. Peter's School, elementary school, and I went to Lowell Trade School after that, and a few stints at the Lowell University at night studying art, as far as education goes. That's about it.
What did you do for a living?
I did metal manufacturing, programming machines for about 20 years. And then I did real estate. I was a real estate broker for another 25 years beyond that in New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
So you have an interesting history in art, because you've kind of picked up art a little bit at a time along the way. So how did that get started?
Well, my mother sent me to school a long time ago with the Whistler House to try to learn something about art. I don't know why she thought I had it in me, but she did. But I never did nothing with it. I was good at it in elementary school and stuff like that. Then my mother gave me a correspondence course in Norman Rockwell. I studied for a year. Did that for a little bit, but I never really continued it too much until I went into I went to Lowell University at night and studied charcoals and modeling, things like that. And I spent about a year and a half doing charcoals and pen and ink from that. And again, I didn't follow up on that. And things got in the way, life got in the way, like the Army and, mortgages. So I kind of put it aside for a long time.
How long were you in the Army?
I was in the Army Reserves for 6 years.
Did you do any active duty?
Luckily, no. I was right at the Vietnam, top of the peak of the Vietnam era.
So you've been painting and drawing pretty much all of your life since you were pretty young. When did you get started with painting in earnest?
Well, I think I explained to you earlier that my daughter came back with an easel from Maui, and she left it downstairs, and just sitting here for 6 months, 9 months. And I said, I might just get right back into this and try to see if I can do something with it. So I bought some oil paints, and I looked at a couple of really Bob Ross how to mix paints and studied his format a little bit. And I picked up on it, and I did my first one in 2015. So people liked it, and I kind of carried on from there and drifted in and out of different techniques, and picked up on it, and I like it.
Your oils have an interesting appearance. You definitely have a distinct style. The colors are very saturated. The contrast is sharp, and you also seem to favor primary colors. There are a lot of primary colors in your painting.
Yes, there is.
How do you come to see things that way?
Well, I just like the bright side of things. As you can see, a lot of my pictures have outdoor settings with a lot of sunsets, sunrises, moonscapes. I like the outdoors, and I've been deep sea fishing all my life, and I just like being outdoors and just being in nature, and I like that side of it.
Where does your subject matter come from?
Mostly I pick up things, some pictures, or I'll wake up some mornings and say, I think I'd like to try something like that, or something that will give me some initiative to, if I see something even on TV, or if I go through YouTube and pick up some pictures of some forests I like, I'll take certain areas of a picture that I really like, and I'll combine it with something else that I had in my mind, which I'm working on now, and I'll usually pick them up from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your charcoals are completely different, and you don't do too many charcoals anymore, but you used to do caricatures
Yes.
and portraits back in the day.
I did. In fact, a few of these come out of my old Norman Rockwell course, the one I told you about the girl in the mirror there, it was one of my tests I had to send in. So so I kept it, and I kept it around my studio, and I just made a picture out of it.
So, but now you mostly do oil.
Mostly oil.
Are there any other media that you have in your repertoire?
I played with some pastels, but I got some in the drawer here, but I never really got into it. Pen and ink, charcoal, oils. That's about the gist of what I like to feel comfortable with. Yeah. Of course, I could always explore. I thought about doing watercolors, but I think that's somebody's own niche to do watercolors. I just never really got into it. Although I really respect the people who do them and how to do them right. How
often do you paint or
Again,
draw?
It depends on the mood I'm in. You know, if I'm busy like the holidays, I'm like everybody else. You just don't feel like it. But right after the first of the year, if I get an urge to paint, I'll paint. If I wake up some morning with an idea in my head, I'll just go downstairs, I'll make a sketch, and I'll get right into it and start painting.
So you mentioned you do 5 or 6 per year?
I was doing up to like 9 or 10, and then I drifted off and a little bit. Now I'm down to like 6 or 7. Who knows? It's just if I'm in a mood, I'll do 3 or 4 paintings a month. It just depends on what I want to, if I feel like doing them.
When you start on a painting, how long does it take you to complete it?
Average. Once I map it out, I'll think about it. And before I come down there, like tomorrow I want to do a painting, but I got it pretty well mapped out in my mind what I want to do, and I'll have the colors picked out. I want to say on average, 3 to 4 hours. But that's total down here to finish. But sometimes if it's late at night, I'll come back downstairs at around 11 o'clock at night and retouch it up again. It depends. But usually the finished product is around, I'd say 3 to 4 hours, and then it's complete.
I wanted to ask you about this painting, because this one probably took you more than just 3 or 4 hours, because there was a lot of rework in that.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah, sure. I originally did the seascape. The sky, it was okay, but I didn't like the croppings around both sides of the seascape. It was too plain and mundane, and I wanted to make the sea a little rougher on one side. So I did the corners back over again and retouched the sky up a little bit. I would say another 3 to 4 hours, and then I said, okay, now I like it. It's okay.
Then there's a totally different landscape right next to you there with the mountains and
this
the stream.
Yeah, I call that one. That's the Eagle's Nest.
And is that something from real life?
No, none of these are. None of these paintings are from real life, except that one right there up there. You see that moon over Zimbabwe? That came out of a video, not a video, but a YouTube picture. I was looking for something to do with some either a sunset or a moonset over in Africa, and I got that out of there. So that's a real life painting. I just got the best of it and added my own stuff to it after that.
So let's go back to the landscape with the mountain.
Right here.
Yeah. So where did the idea from that one come from?
Actually, that one I started doing mountains, learning how to do mountains with Bob Ross. I got the mountains down, but I did not like all the croppings. So I changed it how I wanted to make it look more realistic and more in depth, more perspective. And now I like it. It's okay. So that's how it comes up. I usually change a lot of them. Very rarely I get them done on the first shot. There's maybe 2 or 3 out of maybe 4 that I'm done. That was it. But most of them I come down and I don't like them or mine. I wake up the next morning while it's still wet. I'll come down and change it again.
It sounds to me like it takes a lot more than just 3 or 4 hours. 3
to 4 hours is the initial, and you're tired. You actually say, I don't want to do this anymore. And you just put it away. Because now you're going to start, as you know, you're going to overkill the painting. So I just leave it alone. The next day I'll come down, I'll put the light on real quick while it's dark here. I'll put the light on, I'll look at it quick. I say, now I know what I have to do to it. And that's how it changes.
Yeah.
To my liking.
Yeah. So I noticed a charcoal in the corner that is, you said it was done in 1978?
Yes, that was done in '78. They did mark them, so.
Yeah. And that's your son?
Yes, it is. That was in 1978. I didn't know what to do, and my son gave them back to me in a portfolio like he had. I threw half of them away because I didn't know what to do with them. So I did keep half of them, so that was good.
So how important is art in your life?
Oh, I'd say it was very important. It really keeps me busy. And I meet new friends at the All Gallery. I meet people, I talk to people. If I go out to a restaurant, I've had my business cards made up. And it's a good conversation starter, as you know. And it's just something to do. It keeps me busy, keeps my mind going, my creative things going. And I'll make prints of this. I'll make 8 or 9 prints and I'll send them to my relatives and friends. Okay? And I send them in mails, and to me, it's like, I call it a glorified postcard. And it keeps me in contact with the other people. I get people I send them to in California, my daughter in California, and people in Florida, and local people too.
Yeah.
And they appreciate it, and they call me up and they say thanks for the picture. So it's a good connection thing too.
Yeah. Well, I do want to mention, we talked earlier about when you really started in earnest, and I'm not sure we answered that question.
2015 was my first blue moon.
Right. And I thought that was important for everybody to understand that 2015 was the year when you received this easel from your daughter.
Yes.
And really started.
Right about, yeah. I had to have the easel to do that, so it had to be around either that 2015 or the year before. So right in that area. And my wife loved it too, so I did it for her.
I also want to remind everybody that Bill is a member of the Arts League of Lowell, the Co-op Gallery, and you can see more of his work on his wall at the Arts League of Lowell, 307 Market Street in Lowell, Massachusetts. Bill, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed.